Success is not just about what you do, it's about how you carry yourself while doing it. The storm will come, that's guaranteed. But the real question is, can you stay calm while building the life you dream about? Can you keep your inner world steady while the outer world shakes? Life doesn't reward panic, it rewards preparation. It rewards the person who stays collected under pressure and disciplined in seasons of delay. When everything around you says, give up, the calm voice inside you must say, keep going. You don't have to react to everything. You don't have to jump at every shadow. The calm person sees more clearly. The calm person thinks more deeply. The calm person wins the long game. People think success is all energy and hustle, and yes, energy matters, but direction matters more. And to find the right direction, you've got to be calm enough to hear the whisper of wisdom. You've got to slow down long enough to ask, is this the best use of my time? Is this moving me forward? There's a reason the most successful people often appear quiet, deliberate, almost unshaken. It's because they've trained themselves. When fear knocks, they don't answer with panic. They answer with principles. When distractions scream, they don't follow them. They stay on track. And staying calm doesn't mean being passive. It means being in control of yourself so you can take better control of your future. The moment you master your emotions, you start mastering your outcomes. Success is not for the loudest. It's for the most focused. It's not for the anxious. It's for the aware. It's not for the busy. It's for the intentional. So keep calm and succeed. Don't get caught up in noise. Don't let the urgency of others pull you out of your peace. Your mind is your greatest asset. Protect it. Control the day, or the day will control you. Keep your attitude positive, your priorities clear, your pace steady. Show up with calm confidence. That's how doors open. That's how goals are reached. It's how legacies are built. The world's chaotic enough. Don't add your panic to the pile. Bring clarity. Bring calm. That's how you rise. Calmness is one of the most underrated qualities a person can possess. It's often mistaken for indifference or lack of ambition, but that's a misread. Calmness isn't the absence of fire. It's the mastery of it. The calm person still feels the pressure, still hears the noise, still sees the chaos, but chooses to respond with intention rather than impulse. You see, anyone can panic. That doesn't take discipline. Reacting wildly is easy, but staying calm when things go wrong, when people let you down, when plans fall apart, that's rare, and rare things are usually valuable. Think about a storm. Everything's shaking. Trees are bending, branches snapping, wind howling. But under the surface, the roots of the strong tree are calm, unshaken. That's what gives the tree stability. And people work the same way. The calm person might not be loud, but they're grounded. And that groundedness becomes influence. That presence becomes power. So how do you develop it? The same way you develop any valuable skill, repetition, awareness, and time. You catch yourself when you're about to overreact. You pause before responding. You observe your emotions instead of obeying them. Every time you stay calm when you could have lost it, you're building that muscle. You're training your nervous system to stop jumping off cliffs every time something uncomfortable happens. Start with small things, traffic, delays, rudeness. Those are your warm-ups. Life gives you plenty of chances to practice calm. The line at the store, the email that doesn't come, the person who cuts you off in traffic. You don't have to win those moments. You just have to learn from them. Over time, the little moments stack up. And one day when the big storm comes, you find you're not shaken like you used to be. That's when you know calmness has taken root. Some people wait for peace to show up, but peace is not a gift. It's a choice. You make peace. You don't wait for everything to be perfect before you decide to be calm. If you do that, you'll be waiting forever. Peace begins when you stop letting everything outside you control what happens inside you. Now here's the truth. The calm person often makes better decisions. Why? Because emotion clouds logic. And in business, in relationships, in life, decisions matter. The wrong one can cost you time, energy, money, and credibility. Calm people think before they speak. They respond instead of react. They evaluate before jumping in. And that creates better outcomes. Also, calmness attracts people. Have you ever noticed that? When everything is going crazy and one person stands still, others start to look at that person for direction. Calm people don't chase validation. They don't need to shout to be heard. Their quiet confidence becomes a magnet. And let's not forget, calmness helps your health. Stress and anxiety chip away at your body, but calmness conserves your energy. When you're calm, your breathing slows, your thoughts settle, your heart rate drops. You think more clearly and you act more intentionally. Now, don't confuse calmness with complacency. The calm person still moves, still strives, still pushes, but they do it with control. They're not flailing. They're not frantic. They're deliberate. That's a different kind of strength. So the challenge is this: start treating calmness like a skill worth mastering, because it is. Read the books, do the breathing, take the pause, learn to sit with discomfort without exploding, keep showing up with poise when others are showing up with panic. In the long run, it's not always the fastest or the loudest who win. It's the ones who can endure, adapt, and stay grounded. Calmness is not weakness. It's wisdom wearing patience. And the person who builds that kind of wisdom becomes the one others trust, follow, and remember. So keep your voice steady. Keep your mind focused. Don't let your emotions run the show. Develop the calm. Master the calm. Because when the storm hits, and it will, the calm person won't be swept away. They'll be standing tall, making decisions, leading the way. Success doesn't always belong to the person running the fastest. It often belongs to the one thinking the clearest. It's not about how quickly you can move, but how wisely you move. There are people rushing every day, running full speed toward the wrong destination. That's not success. That's exhaustion with no reward. A steady mind is like a compass. It helps you stay on course when distractions, delays, and disappointments try to pull you off track. You see, life is filled with detours. Things don't always go according to plan. Markets shift, people change, doors close. But the person with a steady mind doesn't panic. They don't just react. They assess, they adjust, and they keep going. Now, there's nothing wrong with energy. There's nothing wrong with speed. But if you're going fast in the wrong direction, you only get lost faster. That's why the foundation matters. The mind that is calm, clear, and focused always outlasts the one that's racing in circles. You've probably seen it. Someone gets excited about an idea, launches fast, pushes hard, works day and night, and then they burn out. Why? Because speed without clarity drains you. It drains your time, your money, your relationships, sometimes even your purpose. The person who takes time to think, to plan, to ask the right questions may look slower at first, but they're actually getting ahead. Let's say you're sailing. You can raise your sails and try to move faster, but if you don't know where you're heading, you'll end up lost at sea. The steady captain checks the map. They study the stars. They adjust the sails with thoughtfulness. They're not just reacting to every wave, they're responding with wisdom. And that's the key. A steady mind doesn't mean you're inactive. It means you're intentional. You're not moved by every emotion or opinion. You don't jump at every trend. You know what matters, and you stay committed to it, even when others are rushing to the next big thing. Now, how do you build that kind of mind? You slow down long enough to ask real questions. What am I doing? Why am I doing it? Is this the best use of my time? What's the long-term result of this path? If you never ask those questions, speed becomes your enemy instead of your ally. You build a steady mind through discipline. That means sticking to your priorities even when it's not exciting. That means not being thrown off by criticism or applause. That means doing what's right even when it's not fast, flashy, or convenient. It's not glamorous, but it's effective. Success built on steadiness lasts. It's not a one-hit wonder. It's not a flash in the pan. It's something that grows over time because the person behind it is stable. They don't crack under pressure. They don't collapse when things get hard. They've trained their mind to focus on solutions, not drama. And let's talk about pressure. Because when the stakes are high, the fast mind gets frantic. But the steady mind thinks, breathes, adapts. That's who you want making decisions, someone who can think when others freeze. That's the person who turns crisis into opportunity. Even in business, the most successful companies aren't always the fastest growing. They're the ones with solid foundations, clear leadership, and long-term vision. That comes from steady minds at the top, people who value progress over hype, substance over speed. So the next time you feel behind, the next time you feel like you're not moving fast enough, remember this: consistency beats chaos. Direction beats speed. Purpose beats panic. You don't need to impress anyone with how fast you're going. You need to impress yourself with how focused you're becoming. Because the prize isn't at the finish line of a sprint. It's in the journey of building something meaningful, something lasting, something true. Success isn't just a race, it's a rhythm. And once you find that steady rhythm where your mind is clear, your heart is set, your pace is sustainable, you won't just go farther, you'll go wiser. And in the end, that's what turns motion into meaning. Emotions are powerful. They can build or break, move you forward or hold you back. They're part of what makes you human, but they're not meant to be the driver of your life. If you don't control your emotions will start controlling your decisions, your actions, your relationships, and ultimately your results. You can have all the talent, the knowledge, the resources, the opportunity, but if you can't manage your emotions, all of that can slip through your fingers. It doesn't take much. One outburst, one bitter response, one fear-based decision, and progress can be lost in an instant. That's how fragile results can be in the hands of unchecked emotions. It's not that emotions are bad. Anger, fear, sadness, excitement, they all have a place. They're signals, but they're not steering wheels. You don't hand over the keys to your future just because your feelings are having a bad day. The key is learning to pause long enough to decide how to respond instead of reacting on impulse. Let's take anger. Everyone gets angry, but not everyone destroys trust when they're angry. Not everyone burns bridges. Why? Because some people have learned to step back, take a breath, and respond with wisdom. They've learned that an angry decision might feel good for a moment, but it usually costs you long-term influence and credibility. The strong person isn't the one who explodes. It's the one who can stand in the heat and keep their composure. Same with fear. Fear can paralyze people. They overthink, they pull back, they miss out. Fear tells them they're not ready, not good enough, not smart enough. But if you listen to fear long enough, you'll start living small. And nothing about success is small. You've got to look fear in the eye and say, you don't get to decide how I live today. You push through the feeling. That's where growth lives, on the other side of emotional resistance. And let's not ignore the flip side, excitement. Yes, even positive emotions can trip you up. When people get too excited, they can rush into things. They make impulsive purchases. They commit to things they can't sustain. They promise more than they can deliver. That's why wisdom says, I get excited, but stay grounded. Just because something feels great in the moment doesn't mean it's good for the future. The goal is balance. You don't want to shut down your emotions. You want to become aware of them, notice them, understand them, and then choose your actions. That's maturity. That's strength. That's leadership over yourself before you ever lead anyone else. You can't avoid emotional moments in life. They're coming. The frustration, the disappointment, the offense, the betrayal, the unfairness. Life will hand you all of it at one point or another. But what you do with those feelings determines where your life goes. You either learn to manage your emotional storms or you spend your life cleaning up after the damage they cause. Think about the greats, people who lead, people who last. They're not emotionless, but they've learned control. They've trained themselves to stay calm in crisis, focused under pressure, gracious when attacked. That didn't happen by accident. It happened through practice, through self-awareness, through the quiet decision to grow stronger inside before trying to make things happen outside. Control brings clarity, and clarity helps you make better choices, and better choices shape better results. That's how it works. So if you want better outcomes in your life, start by managing what happens within you. You won't always get it right. You'll slip. You'll speak too soon or hold back too long. But with each mistake comes a lesson. And with each lesson comes growth. So don't live at the mercy of every emotional wave. Get your footing. Know your values. Set your standards. Practice the pause. Let your principles speak louder than your pressure. That's how you take control. Because when you master your emotions, you start mastering your future. You start becoming someone who responds with wisdom instead of regret. And that kind of person, they don't just succeed, they inspire. Preparation is one of life's greatest antidotes to panic. When you're prepared, you don't need to run around asking, what do I do now? You already know. Preparation puts you in control. It doesn't eliminate every challenge, but it gives you a solid footing when challenges show up, and they will. You see, panic usually shows up where preparation is absent. Panic is the voice that screams, Sene, I didn't see this coming. But preparation says, Sen may not know everything, but I've trained for something. When you've taken the time to think ahead, plan ahead, work ahead, you build a quiet confidence. That confidence isn't loud or showy. It's calm, focused, and ready. It's like this. If a pilot only started learning how to fly after takeoff, that would be a disaster. They don't wait until they're in the air to learn how to respond to wind, weather, or warning lights. They train before the flight. That's preparation. And successful people think the same way. They don't wait until life goes sideways to decide who they want to be. They prepare their minds, their skills, and their strategies long before the pressure comes. Worry loves to camp out in unprepared minds. It feeds off uncertainty. But the more you prepare, the more you shrink that space where worry tries to live. You don't have to guess. You don't have to fear the unknown as much. Why? Because you built a plan. You've taken the time to organize, to rehearse, to think, and that thinking becomes your edge. Now, some people confuse preparation with perfection. They say, I don't have everything figured out, so I can't start. But that's not what preparation is. It's not about having all the answers. It's about being ready for the moment, being mentally ready, spiritually grounded, practically equipped. You don't need everything, but you do need something: a map, a goal, a backup plan, a budget, some structure that replaces panic with purpose. Look around and you'll see people who live in permanent emergency mode. Everything is last minute. Everything is urgent. Every day is a fire. But if you keep living on the edge of panic, you never find your rhythm. You never find peace. Preparation brings order. It lets you breathe. It gives you space to think, space to adapt. You don't have to be the most talented person in the room, but if you're the most prepared, you've already got an advantage. Prepared people stand taller. They speak with clarity. They walk into meetings with confidence. Why? Because they didn't wing it. They did the work beforehand. The groundwork creates the outcome. And preparation doesn't just apply to big moments. It's a way of life. Prepare your mornings the night before. Prepare your week on Sunday. Prepare your budget before the bills hit. Prepare your heart before the conflict happens. Preparation multiplies peace, and peace helps you stay sharp, stay steady. When challenges come, and they always come, you can either face them with fear or face them with a plan. Panic costs time, energy, and opportunities. It clouds judgment and short-circuits good thinking. But preparation gives you time to pause, consider, and choose wisely. And in the long run, wisdom always outperforms worry. So take the time, prepare, think, plan. It may not be exciting, but it's effective. It's the quiet discipline that makes the loudest difference. A little effort now can prevent a lot of stress later. A little structure now can open a lot of doors later. And when others are scrambling, the prepared person is moving forward, calm, focused, and ready. Don't let panic run your life. Panic is a reaction. Preparation is a decision. Choose the path that gives you more control over your outcomes. Choose the path that brings peace to your day and clarity to your goals. Plan more, worry less. It's not just advice. It's a lifestyle that builds results.